It was one of those Saturday mornings where the world feels soft around the edges. The kind where lawnmowers hum in the distance, the air smells faintly of bacon and maple syrup, and the birds are bickering in the trees like they've got a score to settle. I was out front, watering my marigolds, still in my faded sleep shirt and jeans, the hose making lazy arcs over the flower bed. The sun was just peeking over the rooftops, casting long shadows across our quiet street. My grandson, Lucas, was sprawled on the sidewalk, a box of colored chalk scattered around him. At 9, Lucas is deaf, has been since birth, but his hands? They're magic. When he signs, it's like he's painting emotions in the air, each gesture bold, alive, like he's telling a story only he can see. That morning, Lucas had a plan. The night before, he'd signed to me about a poster in his classroom that read, "Love speaks louder than words." His eyes lit up as he told me he wanted to write it on the sidewalk for everyone to see. So people remember he signed, grinning like he was about to change the world. And there he was, cross-legged, elbows smudged with pink and blue chalk, carefully tracing those words in big, proud letters across the concrete, like it was his own personal canvas. My dad, Walter, was on the porch, his calloused hands curled around a battered tin mug of black coffee. At 80, he still had that quiet strength, the kind that makes you forget he's there until he decides to move. Back in the day, he was a martial arts judge real tournaments, not the flashy stuff you see online. Dusty floors in Okinawa, broken knuckles, the kind of fights that left stories and scars. People saw him as just another old man in a rocking chair. I knew better. Lucas waved at him between letters, and Walter gave a small nod, just enough to say he was watching. Then it happened. A black SUV rolled around the corner, slow, deliberate, and stopped right in front of our house. I didn't think much of it at first, maybe a delivery, maybe someone lost. But the engine kept running, and 2 men stepped out. They wore matching khakis, boots, dark vests, and sunglasses, with clipboards in hand and what looked like badges glinting on their chests. Patches on their shoulders read, "Neighborhood Enforcement." My stomach tightened. We don't have an HOA. Never have. That's why we picked this town dues. No fines, no busybodies measuring your lawn. The men didn't knock or look around. They marched straight toward Lucas. The taller one, wiry, bald, maybe mid-40s, stepped right into Lucas's chalk drawing, his shadow swallowing the words. Lucas didn't notice, focused on the word louder. "Hey kid," the man snapped. "You can't scribble on the sidewalk. It's graffiti. Against code." I froze, the hose still dribbling in my hand. "Excuse me." I called, but they didn't even glance my way. Lucas looked up, tilted his head the way he does when he's acknowledging someone, and smiled. Then he signed, slow and clear, "Sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm deaf. Just writing a message." The bald man didn't try to understand. He just snorted. "What's this? Little guy throwing gang signs?" My heart lurched. The shorter one, stocky, sunburned neck, maybe late 30s, laughed. "Nah, he's probably filming for some app. Kids will do anything for likes." Lucas kept signing, his hands graceful, trying to explain, but he started writing again, like he could block them out. That's when they crossed a line I'll never unsee. The tall one raised his hands, jerking his fingers in a mocking, clumsy imitation, making exaggerated faces, lips pursed like a cartoon. The short one joined in, flailing his hands, crossing his eyes, pretending to shake like he was possessed. They laughed loud, ugly, gut-deep laughter like they just cracked the funniest joke in the world. Lucas looked up, confused. His smile faded, his hands stilled. He dropped his chalk, staring at them. From the porch, Walter stood. Not fast, not dramatic, just deliberate, like the air itself had to make room for him. The mug clinked softly on the railing as he stepped down, his shoes silent on the concrete. The men were still laughing. "Got a permit for that freak show?" The bald one sneered, pointing at the chalk. I opened my mouth to yell, to stop whatever was coming, but Walter was already there, moving past the flowers, past me, past the hose still leaking onto my shoes. He stopped at the sidewalk. Lucas signed something fast, his hands trembling. Did I do something wrong? Walter shook his head just once. Then he turned to the men. His eyes weren't angry, not raging, just steady, like he saw through them to something they didn't even know about themselves. "You here officially?" he asked, his voice low, rough, like stones grinding together. The bald one scoffed, flashing a cheap plastic badge and a fake leather wallet. "Neighborhood enforcement," he said, smirking. "Keeping property values up, pops." The short one chimed in, while VYing at the chalk like it was a crime scene. "Sidewalk chalk, loitering, non-compliant active VY tie." Lucas signed again, slower. "I'm just drawing. Not hurting anything." They didn't care. The short one snorted, then started mocking again, twisting his hands, sticking out his tongue, making guttural noises like he was auditioning for a cruel comedy. That's what happened. Walter stepped forward, just one step, placing himself between Lucas and the men. His right hand shifted, not clenched, just open, relaxed, thumbs slightly out. I knew that look, decades of muscle memory waking up. He stared at the short man, still frozen mid-mockery, and said, "You think it's funny? Mocking how someone speaks? How they live?" The man blinked, laughed nervously. "Chill, Grandpa. We're just doing our job." He didn't finish. In one fluid motion, Walter closed the distance, grabbed the man's wrist mid-gesture, and twisted. A sharp, sickening pop cut through the air, followed by a scream that shattered the morning like glass. The man crumpled, clutching his mangled fingers, rolling on the sidewalk, wailing like a wounded animal. The bald one stumbled back. "What the hell? You broke his hand." Lucas flinched at the scream, looking to me. I ran to him, kneeling, pulling him close. "It's okay," I whispered, though I wasn't sure it was. The injured man kept screaming. "He broke my fingers." Walter didn't move. He stood over him, calm, like a statue carved from time itself. The bald one tried to rally. "That's assault. A felony. We're suing." Walter turned his head, just his head, and fixed him with a stare that could strip paint. "You impersonate officials. You mock a disabled kid. You trespass. You threaten." He took one slow step. "Want to talk felonies?" The man backed up, hands shaking. Neighbors were out now, phones raised, filming, whispering. The injured man whimpered, his hands swelling, knuckles bent wrong. Lucas peeked from behind me, signing. "Is he hurt bad?" Walter signed back, slow but clear. "He'll remember not to mock." Lucas smiled, small but real. The bald man was sweating, pacing, shouting, "This is assault. I'm calling the cops." Walter's voice was ice. "Good. Call them." The crowd grew Mrs. Larson in her cardigan, filming with her tablet. Mr. Hayes, the old plumber, squinting through his phone. They weren't just watching. They were witnesses. The bald man hissed, "You're all crazy. This is about chalk, obstruction, impersonation." He froze, realizing he'd just admitted it on camera. His phone slipped from his hand, skittering under Lucas's chalk words. He flinched like Walter might strike, but Walter didn't move. He didn't need to. The silence was louder than the screams. Mrs. Larson stepped forward. "We've never had an HOA. I was on the founding committee. These men are frauds." Mr. Hayes nodded. "Saw that one last month, trying to find my fence. City had no record of him." Voices piled on, stories of fake fines, threats, harassment. The bald man bent for his phone, then froze as Walter shifted half a step. He backed off, trembling. The crowd buzzed, not angry, but alive, like truth had ignited something unstoppable. Sirens wailed in the distance. A patrol car rolled up, lights flashing. 2 officers stepped out, calm, hands loose but ready. The fake officers started shouting. "He attacked us." Went ballistic. I stepped forward, heart pounding. "You want to see this?" I said, holding up my phone. But I didn't need to. Neighbors were already offering their VY deos. One frozen on the moment Walter snapped the man's fingers, another catching the mockery. I handed over a badge I'd picked up laminated. "No seal, homemade." The male officer turned it over. "Not regulation," he muttered. The female officer squinted at the injured man. "Hold on. You're the fake inspector from Greenhill, aren't you? Phony citations, Word document permits." His face paled. "She radioed for transport." The bald man snapped. "You've got no proof." But a neighbor, Mr. Patel, a teacher, showed a photo, same SUV, same men, trying to find his recycling bin. The officers bagged clipboards, fake forms, vests, all props in a scam. The men were led to the patrol car. No cuffs yet, but their steps were heavy, like they were already bound. Lucas climbed onto the porch step, hand on Walter's knee, signing, "I like the blue lights." I smiled, though my chest ached. The SUV was towed, its contents cataloged. Neighbors clapped, not wild, but firm, like justice had spoken. By evening, the VY Deo was everywhere. Millions of VYUs, share from shaky clip to news feeds, forums, everywhere. Headlines burned. Deaf boy mocked by fake officers. Grandfather ends it with one snap. Walter didn't care. He didn't own a phone, didn't know what VY row meant. He just wanted Lucas safe. Lucas, though, watched the clip on repeat, not for the snap, but for Walter stepping in, steady, silent, like a hero from myth. One night, he signed in the dark. He didn't yell. He just showed up. Messages poured in. Parents of deaf kids, teachers, strangers. A girl, Mia, 10, deaf, sent a drawing of Walter holding chalk like a sword, labeled "My Hero." A dojo offered Lucas free lessons. A deaf rights group sent a backpack with glowing gloves and a journal embossed, "Your hands are your voice." Lucas signed, "Better than Christmas." His school asked us to speak. Lucas wanted to, so we went. The auditorium was packed. They played the VY Deo 3 times. Kids gasped at the snap, watched Lucas's hands, then Walter's face. Lucas signed to the crowd. "My grandpa speaks loudest without words." The applause was thunder. That night, Walter sat on the porch, same mug, same chair. Lucas showed him the journal. Walter traced the embossing, then looked at him. Lucas signed, "You're why they listened." Walter smiled, rare and full, like sunlight breaking through stone. The sidewalk changed. Neighbors added to Lucas's words messages of love, strength, defiance. Signing is a language. Be like Walter. By Tuesday, it was a mosaic, color sprawling. The city didn't wash it away. They sealed it permanent like art. Lucas wrote one last message in yellow chalk. "I am enough." Walter watched, mug in hand, and said, soft as a vow, "No, kid. Be better." Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's a man in a chair, teaching a boy that silence can roar.